And we are live with episode 162 of the Start, Build, Grow Show. Randy Brothers, I got to give you a quick shout out, my friend. I saw you this weekend. Randy is on what, day 65, 66 of the 75 hard. You are looking good, lost some weight, feeling lean and mean. And I just want you to know, too, Ben Farha, Fire Roofing said, if you complete it, he said at the very beginning, if you complete it, he's going to do it. So it's looking very promising, but awesome, awesome work. Proud of you, bud. How we doing?
Man, I feel great. My energy's good. My mind's good. Like I'm firing on all cylinders, man. And it's so rewarding. And we'll get into this stuff because I mean, Hunter's well, now I don't even need to introduce this guy, but it's been awesome because the right when I started, there was a bunch of buzz and people started jumping in and wanting to do it with me, and then throughout, like staying consistent and following up and following through with it, there's a lot of people that have jumped on board that are doing it and are thinking about doing it. So for those of you watching, been paying attention, if you are doing it, stick with it. You got to grind it out. And for those of you who are thinking about it, stop making excuses and get it done, right? Start tomorrow. There's no excuse. There's literally no excuse to not, take the first step to change your life, right? Let's go. Let's get it done. It's awesome. I feel great. Firing on all cylinders. And we had to, like, my people had to call your people and our agents, and we had to book this like 3 years ago, like just to track down Mr. Hunter Ballew. I mean, you've got to be like the busiest guy in the roofing space. And we're so grateful to have you back on the show, man. How's life? Welcome back, Mr. Hunter Ballew. What's up, brother?
It's good, man. I appreciate it, and congrats to you, brother. That's awesome. I didn't know you were that close to finishing. I kind of followed your wife's journey, honestly, a little bit closer than I feel like I followed yours, and maybe it's because you posted more about her than you did yourself.
Yeah, I
Uh,
was living vicariously through her, and then she got done. And I'm like, oh shoot, now I got to like do something myself.
that's awesome.
And then you guys with all these damn Murph workouts and all the crap you're doing, the
Yeah,
fearsome 40 and all that. I'm like, oh man, I got to do something here. I'm
yeah.
just sitting back, getting fat and happy.
Dude, I can really relate though, man. My wife is a monster too. Like she's probably more committed than I am, especially when it comes to like that kind of stuff, fitness. My mind is way more geared towards just business, business, business. When
Yep.
I'm in the gym, like I enjoy it, especially if I have people with me. But if it's like I got to get up early or go late at night and I'm doing the reps, dude, I'm just thinking about work. Like I want to be in, I want to be building relationships. I want to be doing this. I want to be just moving the needle on work and impact. And so I have a lot of respect for my wife and your wife getting that knocked out. So that's cool, man. And so congratulations to you. Big congrats to
Yeah,
you.
thanks, man. It's been awesome. We're
Yeah.
feeling good now. With what's next, right? It's like, what do you do on day 76? I'm like, well, I'm just gonna get up and work out. Let's go. Like, the whole point is not to just, hey, do this cool thing. The whole point is to make changes in your life permanent, right? Make good habits and create that habit that's gonna help stimulate life forever. So that's where we're
Mhm.
at, man. That's what I'm going for.
And it goes hand in hand with our topic we're going to have today, right? So I thought you two would be perfect for this kind of discussion, right? How to shift your mindset, improve your business, and change your life. I actually got that from, I might have been the RoofCon website or the roofing.com website, not 100% sure, but I loved that for what we're going to talk about today. So Hunter, man, who the heck is Hunter Ballew? I mean, you had a roofing company, man. You're holding retreats, you're doing conferences, all this stuff. What gets you out of bed in the morning? Why are you doing all these different things?
I
Oh,
think we lost him.
we
Well,
might have.
I'll speak for him, I guess. But
Yeah,
let's see
right.
if he can jump back in here. But yeah, man. Well, I guess we'll have to ad lib here. See if we can pull
He's
Hunter back up
messaging me
here. Give me
right
a
now.
sec.
So
Yeah, cool. Well, the life is good for everybody. Let's plug early. Okay, for those of you who've been listening, this is episode 62.
162.
162 weeks with maybe a handful of weeks, where we holidays or took things off or that sort of thing, and somehow, some way, we continue to be allowed on Facebook and the podcasting platform. So, I just want to spend a minute to just say thank you to everybody who's followed us, everybody who listens. If you're listening now in your car, I mean, I don't know how many times I get messages where people are like, "Hey man, I've listened to all your podcasts. I appreciate the information." And like, that's what we're all about. That's what this show is all about, to lead, to teach, to inspire, contractors, entrepreneurs, roofing contractors to be the best version of themselves, and to gain knowledge, and to gain insight to help grow their businesses and grow themselves. So, man, I'm very grateful to be here this long, and to keep going, and really, more importantly, I'm grateful to have a producer and a co-host such as my man Nick
Oh,
Corrette, that just grinds it out. He's putting the work in the background, making sure that this show is high quality, making sure that we're able to continue to do this week in and week out, and book guests, and do all the coordination and the
oh,
editing
we
and the
might
marketing
have.
and all that stuff. So thank you, bro.
Yes, sir, man. So it looks like we got Hunter back here. It sounds like there's some tornadoes running through. So what's going
Yeah.
on, man?
Oh, just ducking my head from all these flying debris and stuff.
Yeah, right. You see what this guy's doing to be on the show with us? There's tornadoes going on, and the man still shows up.
Committed. I'm committed.
Committed, man. But no, I was just asking, who the heck is Hunter, man? Who are you? Why are you doing all this stuff? What's the vision? What's the purpose?
Yeah, man. So kind of the same story. Nothing's really changed. A lot of stuff in the industry. When you have a roofing company, you come up with an event. You have the roofing academy. Like sometimes the target changes. For us, it's kind of been the same since day one. It's been bringing high integrity professionals from the roofing industry together that are focused on becoming better leaders and securing their legacy. And we say professionals, it's not necessarily just contractors, but people that have courses, that have marketing companies, that do supplementing. Like it could be anyone inside of the industry. We just want to bring everyone together that is of high integrity and trying to do the right things and just not just make a dollar.
100%. And you're doing some really cool things here with RoofCon's coming up. I know that's coming up here in September. So is that September 30th through October 2nd, Orlando, Florida? So if you guys have not checked out, make sure you're checking it out. You can go to roofcon.com. I'll put the link in the comments as well. So you do some pretty cool things. I mean, you're doing retreats. I know you just did a Revolt Wives retreat. So people who are in Revolt, you actually allowed their wives to come in and did a retreat there in Florida. Super cool. You're doing cruises. You're doing RoofCon. Is that kind of one of your favorite things to do in business, is bringing these people together and masterminds and stuff like that?
Yeah, man. So like when I got out of high school, I went to the Marine Corps, and then I went to the fire department. I was there for a while before I found my way into the roofing industry. However, that happened. It was definitely
Roofing
not
found you,
intentional.
right?
Yeah, I think that's kind of how the saying goes. But for me, man, it was just having that group, that association to push me to the next level. And so I found myself going to some of the events and going to some of the courses and getting with the coaches and that kind of thing. And we just wanted to have our own style. Most of them they're great. But most of them focus more on the business side, whereas we have the business side, but we focus on the personal side. How do you develop as a leader? So that was important to us. And then I remember year one, RoofCon 2019, like we're literally not even 2 years yet that we've been in business with RoofCon, with roofing.com. And I remember RoofCon number one, we're in Nashville and the room's got like, I don't know, man, maybe 60 people in there or something. Like it's super small. And when we left that event, I was disappointed because it was so small, but I just remember everyone saying how great it was because it was intimate. You got to know everybody. And so that meant something to those folks. Well, naturally, we wanted to grow a big conference. For one, if I'm being honest, I'm competitive, right? Like I want the biggest freaking conference out there.
Of
I want to
course.
provide the most value possible. But how do we also give back to the industry in the way that they want? And that was a smaller group setting. And so we started doing the retreats. And that's been great, man. I mean, we've literally put hundreds of people through those retreats now. We do them for absolutely no cost. People just fly out. I cover the lodging. I have a chef come in. Everything's taken care of. You get all kind of free swag. If you watch any of the videos, you see we play some games. We get competitive, and it's just a good time. So that's been our way of hearing the audience and what they want in terms of a smaller setting, but also having the big conference and trying to be the best in that aspect too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
When you
question for you on behalf of you know, a large portion of the roofing industry. When's your Colorado retreat going to happen, and when
Yeah.
when are we going to
Yeah.
correlate on that?
Yeah, we need to do it, man. I was actually
There's some epic places here, man. Like, we've done a lot of stuff here, and you've been here. We did that little, like, small little deal last year, and it was cool, man. I'm gonna challenge you with a Colorado one. Let's make it happen, my man.
I talked with Graham actually a couple months ago about doing it. Actually, Nick was there too. We were talking about doing those 14ers. We're doing one in Salt Lake City next month, an all women's retreat, free retreat style. And so that'll be Salt Lake City. We need to do one in Denver. We'll try to get that lined up when it's not too cold.
So what can people expect though when they go to these retreats? You know, what's kind of the purpose of these retreats? What are they doing? What are they diving into? What do you think they can take away from being part of these retreats?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to give away all of our secret sauce, so I'll give you a real high level view, because we really do try to do a good job of protecting the events, because a lot of people, what they find when they come to the event is the first day, we don't talk about business. Like, we're so intentional about not talking about business, because that's what people come for. They come because they want to grow their business, they want to make more money, they want to take care of their problems. But truly, at the root of their problems, it's usually something inside of them. It's usually something on the personal side. And so for us, we always talk about the importance of self-worth before net worth. And so day one, when you come to a Revolt retreat, it's all about self. It has nothing to do with net worth. And once we take care of that, once we dive deep, we extract any negative stuff you have inside of you, any lack of self-belief. You wouldn't believe, man, like, we do some exercises where we dig deep, and the men and now women at these retreats open up, and like over 50% of the attendees end up saying, like, hey, man, I have a problem with my self-worth. I don't believe in myself. See that over and over and over. And I'm talking about guys that are doing less than $1 million. We've had guys that are doing over $30 million a year. And so it's a common theme, and I don't think that ever goes away. And so day one, we only focus on self-worth, and then we move to net worth day two and really dive into the business side of it, which is great too. And they walk away with real actionable steps that they can implement in their business. Like, if they don't go home and make tens of thousands of dollars, six figures off of what they learned at the retreat, it's their fault, not ours. Like, we provide the value, and we literally have hundreds of testimonials to show for that at this point.
I love that you guys dive so deep into the self-doubt side of things. I think as entrepreneurs, you know, we're so confident, right? And we don't want to, you know, be seen as weak or whatever it might be. But no matter what, I mean, think about it, all of us have had some part in our career where there's self-doubt, and you feel like, hey, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
Well, not to mention the lonely factor. Like, being an entrepreneur is one of the loneliest jobs in the world, you know, from an internal self-worth perspective. Because, like, who do you get to lean on? Like, you're expected to have all the answers. You're expected to make all the decisions. You're expected to take care of everybody and to provide for everybody. But who do you lean on, and who do you talk to, and what are you going to do when things get tough? Like, you just have to bottle it up and put on that mask, put on that armor, and go to work. And it can be pretty lonely up there as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right, man. And that is the problem, is like, even inside the home, sometimes we don't want to expose some of our fears in business or things we're doing with our spouse, because we don't want to project that on them or build any fear inside of them. So, like, we most of the time are bearing the weight. And when you get in a container where there's a bunch of other business owners, you can open up and you can talk about your problems. And I mean, probably 100% of the time, there's someone else there that has experienced it, and they can help you. And again, going back to the personal side, not just business, but we have so many guys open up about, you know, running around on their wife for a porn addiction or substance abuse or whatever it is, but they have a place where they can open up and they feel like they can talk about it and actually be heard. And people are there to love on them and care for them. And that's powerful. So it's been cool for us. I kind of mentioned to Nick before the show even started, like, we've gotten a lot of backlash over the last year since we launched Revolt, because it's all men. And we have a lot of women that think RoofCon, we don't let women come. They're supposed, a few months back, they were circulating. We're like, no, we completely allow women. It's just Revolt in that setting. It's men only, because they open up. They're more vulnerable. And so now we do the women separately. And we've still had people say, like, well, you should do them together and you shouldn't separate them. And, you know, I just challenge people, like, if you have an idea and you think that's better, do it. Like, go out there and create your own retreat. Like, we're not going to be mad for doing it. Do it.
Completely.
You can only reach so many people. I mean, there are, hundreds of thousands of companies across over 100,000 roofing companies across the United States, right? And, so when you're doing a small
Crazy.
retreat with how many 30, 40, 50 people, every quarter, even monthly, you're still scratching the surface of the market and the amount of people that honestly could use something like that. So by all means, like,
Yeah.
get
And
back.
dude, it's every month, and it is mentally and emotionally draining. I mean, you're going for 3 days, and like me and my team are just pouring into these people. And so you leave there like, bro, I gotta have a month off. Like every month even feels like you're going hardcore. And like you said, you're only touching 30 people at a time. We're spending 15 to 20 grand a retreat, knowing that it'll come back. We're not complaining about that. We know it'll come back to RoofCon tickets or other things you have, and that's fine. But it is cool to see the change. But it doesn't matter. You're never going to make everybody happy.
Well, I mean, so you pretty recently purchased roofing.com, right?
Yeah, back this spring. And we just launched a website at ours, actually.
I mean, so what's the vision now with the roofing.com brand? And then also too, how was that process of just purchasing that domain? Because there's got to be a decent amount of traffic that's coming to that already.
Yeah. So it's something I've been after for a while, probably 2 years, like trying to chase the guy down that owned it. The guy had it, I think, 96, and I just could never get a response. And so I ended up hiring a domain broker, paid a lot of money to the domain broker, track it down and negotiate and get it for me. And so it's been cool, man. We just wanted something like a hub. And, honestly, this is kind of like we weren't planning on sharing this stuff, but originally we were going to make it for consumers. We were going to make it a directory for consumers. And then I actually dropped some good coin into having it built out and everything. And then we decided, you know what, man, we've got a cool place in the Facebook group with our email list, with the event where contractors can come. We love the contractors. We love being able to, help unite good guys, basically. And so let's just stay all in on contractors. Like, let's just make it a place where contractors can come. They can find trusted sources, courses like the Roofing Academy, marketers like Soma. Like, let's put all of the good guys in one place so there's a resource for them to go to. So that's what we're working on now. There's a small marketplace. Like, I think we've got maybe Joe Hughes' stuff in there, Matt Daniskin's stuff in there, and we'll continue to build that out with courses and services of people that we know, like, and trust. Like, it's not going to just be like, hey, pay us some money and you get your stuff up on there. Like, I'm so against that, man. Like, I don't try to nickel and dime the industry for a little affiliate money. Like, we want to put goodwill back into the space. And really, up until not long ago, when I had the roofing company, I really wouldn't even promote anybody unless I knew them personally or actually used their services. Because I want to know that they're legit. Like, just pay me.
That's where I'm at too. Like, I have a whole affiliate program, partnership program. Like, we gotta, I gotta use your services or know you personally. I do my own vetting just because I'm pretty passionate about that as well.
Yeah, for sure. So, we want it to be a resource, man, and we've got the site up now, pretty basic. It's got RoofCon, got Roof Crews, got Revolt, got the marketplace. And so we'll continue to build that out with who we think are the trusted providers in the space.
Yeah, well, really cool idea. I love it. Kind of back to what we were saying before with some of these retreats and how people open up and having a place for entrepreneurs to be able to go and kind of let loose of some of the things that they might have been holding them back, at a mental standpoint. Randy, when you talked about that, you were saying all these different things about entrepreneurs that you have to deal with, right? You always have to know all the answers, all the pressures on you, all that kind of stuff. Both you guys are great entrepreneurs. We can start with you, Hunter. Why do you think that, entrepreneurs decide to go into entrepreneurship and kind of accept that responsibility and for some reason be attracted to that responsibility?
Yeah. I actually saw a quote last night. I think it was Churchill, maybe. It's the first time I'd ever quote. And this is probably not word for word, but it was something along the lines of success is maintaining the same amount of enthusiasm after you fail and fail and fail and fail. And so I think there's just some kind of inner drive with some people who don't care if they fail. They really look at it as just an experience gained, perspective gained, an opportunity. No, that's something we talk about a lot is like any devastation, anything bad that happened in your life, and not some woo-woo crap to make you feel good about yourself, but truly like it is an opportunity. So many times we have an opportunity to lead after we've been through something bad because we have that perspective and we can share it with someone else who's going to go through it. So I think that's a big difference, man. And, I've really like thought through the last just few months about can anyone do it? Because for a long time, I just turned 30 years old. And for the last 10, 12 years after getting out of high school, I've wanted to push friends, push family to become entrepreneurs, push, sales guys, whatever, different people to do their own thing and thinking that everyone can do it. And I really have started to wonder and question, can everyone do it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that that's the case. I just don't know that everyone has that drive. I don't know that everyone cares to find that passion and that purpose. That's not a fun thing to talk about because like the rah hunter wants to be like, hell yeah, anybody can do it. But I just don't know if that's the case. I really don't. Like I'm starting to question that more as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I don't know if everybody wants to do it. You know what I mean? I just don't know if it's for them and if they get stimulated from it. I think they get stimulated from other things. And your quote was, "Courage is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm." I love that quote.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the reality is that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can't everybody can't be an entrepreneur. Everybody can't be a visionary. Everybody can't be a facilitator. Everybody can't be an integrator or implementer or anything. You got to have these different dynamics and these different people that come together that are different to make success happen. If you have all the same type of person, the same level of it will not work. Like there's, look at businesses that fail because two type A super entrepreneurial people come together and think they can build a business and it blows up in their face because all the ideas are out there, but nothing gets done, nothing gets executed. So there's a lot of different dynamics when it comes to building the right team and leadership team together and growing a business. And you got to have that visionary, you got to have that entrepreneurial mind, but that's actually just one piece of the cog, right? And it's okay to not, it's not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's okay. Like own where your strengths are and go latch on to some other crazy Hunter or Randy that just blindly dives into the water and starts building boats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the type of, person you want to be around, but you don't have to be that person to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I respect the guys and I hate using, saying number two because it's not about like authority, but the number two guy, when you look at like an org chart being an integrator, like I respect the heck out of those guys that know they're number two, embrace that role and run the organization. Like if it was not for Connor and Michaela and Diego behind me, none of this stuff happens. Like it's just ideas that I dream of, and stay up late at night drooling about. Like nothing actually gets done. And so it's hard when you have that belief in someone. I actually saw a post recently. There's a big time marketer with digital marketer, Perry Belcher. He said, "What's the number one quality about yourself that attracts people to you?" And I was really thinking about it. I didn't even answer on this post. I just thought about it for like a day. And I think for me, it's that people know that I believe in them more than they believe in themselves. Like I really, really freaking believe in people, and I'm willing to hold them fiercely accountable to the point it makes them uncomfortable and pisses people off a lot of times. But at the end of the day, when they think about it, like Diego's got a great story about this. Dude, I can't freaking wait for you guys to see Diego at RoofCon. Like he started last year at 310 pounds and he's right there at 250. That was his goal before RoofCon this year. He's like pounds away, man. I'm so freaking pumped for him.
Good for him.
Money we could make. That beats any amount of people we could put in that conference, is seeing the change in people like that because they bought in and they believed. And we as a team were willing to hold each other fiercely accountable. And he's willing to do the same thing for me when I mess up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and also, imagine if one of us had to be the implementer, like if that was our role. I mean, the business would go nowhere. Like, let's just be honest. One thing I want to talk about too is continued motivation, self-development, like really focusing on continued improvement, even when you hit so many wins. Like, how do you stay goal oriented? Because it was funny. I was doing, I don't know what happened this morning. I was looking up something. Maybe I was looking up your name or something like that. But you were on a podcast called 365 Driven, and the title was "Don't Let Your Latest Remain Your Greatest." And I love that. I feel like that just goes so hand in hand. How do you stay so goal oriented, guys, and driven to get more? And how can other people kind of get that mindset to continue to have that drive?
I think that a big piece of it I think this ties together with the last conversation, and a lot of it has to do with like, a lot of us, work on, personal whys and personal mission statements and company whys and like really purpose driven, things. And for me, and I don't want to speak for Hunter as well, but like creating opportunity for others is really high on my list of my drive and why I feel called and led to do the things I do as an entrepreneur and with what I do. And part of that is, you mentioned it, like there's nothing better than seeing a vision for someone else that they can't even see themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When you invest in we just talked about this last weekend, Nick, like, go into the whole story, but like, Nick and I have been connected since he first launched his company.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw something in you about, and now you're coming to me like, dude, we hit these milestones and like all these things are happening. It's like that sort of thing just like right now gives me goosebumps because it's like me and this kid had this talk 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm like, man, this guy doesn't even realize.
Dude, well, Hunter, do you know how I met Randy? Do you know the story? So, dude, I start
story time. Let's go.
I start the marketing agency, right? And I just got canned from my job, and we haven't made revenue in like 6 months, right? I think we have like 1 customer, maybe 2 customers at that time. And I'm just pinging people on LinkedIn, hey, I'll make you a free video. I'll make you a free video for your company. And Randy responds. And so I don't know how to make a video at this point, right? I have no idea. I have no camera equipment, no nothing. So I show up my iPhone and I buy a $13 tripod off Amazon and I put it on the tripod. Dude, immediately when I meet Randy, the tripod breaks and the phone falls on the ground, dude. A few months later, he ended up hiring us for to work on the Roofing Academy. And that's when he was just getting going with the Roofing Academy. So, he's 100% right. It's definitely seeing something in other people before they do sometimes.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely ties in. Just Diego story is just one of many. For the Cornerstone side, when I had the roofing company, when I had Cornerstone, it was seeing a guy come in that was making 25, 26 grand a year as a brick mason, busting his ass, sweating out there, building a chimney, be able to come in here, do less work, become a leader, up his goals. A guy that was like, hey man, I'd love to have 5 or 10 acres one day. Go from that to, hey, I'm making 100 grand a year and I want 50 or 100 acres.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so cool to see that shift, and that's what really excites me. And at the end of the day, man, like I think so much about. I say this little phrase all the time: the faces that I'll never see. The kids in Haiti, the kids in Nicaragua, the kids in South Africa, like. Who am I going to affect with the butterfly effect through my leadership, through helping people at the retreats, through the conferences? Like, how is that going to continue to push across the world and affect people that I'll never meet? Because it just blows my mind how many people are suffering and have zero hope in 2021. Like people that don't have clean water, people that don't know where their next meal is, people that have viruses that they don't have any cure because they don't have access to healthcare. Like, it blows my mind. And we have the opportunity to change that as entrepreneurs and as people that live in America with all the opportunity we could ever ask for. But if we don't do it, who's going to do it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's literally just asking yourself that. Who's going to do it if you don't do it? You can take the easy route. Like, dude, I just got back from a freaking long ass trip away from my family. I was in Florida for the retreat. Then I was in Vegas for hourly. I was in Salt Lake City for business meetings. I was in another retreat in Nashville. And then I finally got to come home and see my little boy. And I get hated on for that. Like, oh, you don't spend time with your family. Look, I am more intentional with my time when I'm here than most people are just being there. Being there is not enough. It's about being intentional. Now, am I the best about it? No, I'm not the best about it. And I need to get better. But I'm trying. And for Maggie and for Turner, as he grows, he's only 2.5 years old. But for Maggie, she knows, and Turner will know, Dad's willing to make some sacrifices in time with them because there's people that need me to make those sacrifices that don't have nearly what they already have. If Dad was to die tomorrow, they're set, they're good, they're taken care of. But I'm grinding now for people that I'll never even see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love it, man. That's awesome. Yeah, you're doing some unbelievable thing, and especially at your age too. So awesome work on all that stuff. I think one of the things too that you talked about was accountability. I think accountability, for yourself is big, right? If you're going to reach your milestones, but being able to keep other people accountable in your position, right, as a leader, is crucial to business success, right, and their personal success for sure to hit those milestones. I think people sometimes don't set expectations, right? And so it's very hard to keep people accountable, or they don't know how to go about keeping it accountable because criticism and stuff like that's never very easy. What's the best way to really respectively, keep people accountable so that they're hitting their milestones, the company's in their milestones, and everybody's happy, right? Everybody's winning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think what you just said, like setting the expectation is everything. Because when you set the expectation, they can't be mad when you hold them accountable. Now, somebody like me and Randy may align with this. I don't know. Most visionaries are not really great at like managing people and the accountability piece. Like we just forget about it. Like I just expect people to do what they're supposed to do. Now, on a different level, from the personal side, I'm a lot better. Like, hey, are you being intentional with your family? Are you keeping the weight off? Are you going to the gym? Are you eating? Like, I'm a lot better at that than I am accountability to work. And that's where I need the Connors and the Michaelas and the people that help me out on the business side. And then for fuel, it's Ammon and Danielle and Emily. And so I have to have the team because there's just so many things going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Randy?
Well, you nailed it. It's setting expectations and then following up and following through. But I think there's a piece that you just hit on, Hunter, is like starts with holding yourself, right? I mean, it's a really fine line as a leader that's trying to hold others accountable if you're living a ridiculous life yourself, right?
Yeah.
If you're not living a balanced life, or you're not in a good place mentally, spiritually, physically, with your family, and you're having all these issues outside of work, the things that happen outside of 9 to 5 directly correlate to what happened inside of 9 to 5. And if you're trying to lead people with having a really messed up of everything else, that becomes a lot more challenging. So it does start with self. It starts with owning yourself as a leader and holding yourself to a higher standard. I mean, that's the end of the day. And part of doing the 75 hard was I wasn't holding myself to a high enough standard to be in a position of influence and a position of leadership that I was in. So it just hit me like a ton of bricks one day, and I'm like, you know what? I got to make this change. I have to be the person that I'm teaching and inspiring others to be. That's my role. That's what the position that God put me in, and I got to take ownership of that. And whether it's it will always be, I ain't there, right? I'm not there. I will probably never be there. But knowing that you got to always continue to get better as an individual will directly reflect on the accountability you're trying to hold others to.
Yeah, so I got a lot on that. First, you just said I'm not there and I'll probably never be there. Have you seen Matthew McConaughey's acceptance speech of like the?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that, Randy, you should do that. And if you're watching this and you haven't seen it, check out his acceptance speech where he talks about chasing his hero, and just watch that. It's like a couple minutes long, but it's
I'll
great.
put it in the notes or in the comments too.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Then secondly to that is, dude, I think it just all starts with awareness. Like you basically said that without saying this, like just self-awareness. Like you got to be aware of where you're at and realize people are looking at you. I don't know if I should say this on the internet, but I'm going to say it because it's an experience for me that's meant a lot to me. And that's, from a super young age, man, I remember going to church and seeing a pastor preach to me that was just grossly obese. And that just never sat well with me. I didn't really know why when I was young. It just didn't feel right. Like, that guy's the leader. I'm supposed to emulate him. I'm supposed to want to be like him.
Yeah.
And just that fact, that part of his life, like he wasn't holding himself in check. And I'm not speaking about one person. I'm talking about plenty of pastors I saw throughout my life, right? And so that's just one example of like someone that I idolized or I looked at as a leader, but that was off to me. And I can remember thinking like, okay, well, I got to be different than that. And I'm still not perfect. I'm still not there. I'm still chasing that guy. But I'm always aware. I'm always thinking about it, and I'm always running, chasing.
It's an interesting correlation there that you had for sure. Because I remember my first corporate job. I remember someone that was the opposite. Someone that was just in extremely good shape, and he kept moving up the corporate ladder. It was just unbelievable. And so you kind of equated the two, where he's like, hey, he's really disciplined, right? He's very accountable, all this kind of stuff. And you're like, maybe it just kind of, makes sense that he's successful and having the success that he's having right now.
Yeah, for sure.
So one thing I want to talk about, and I want to see what you guys think of this topic. So obviously, people look up to you guys, right? They see your success, they see all the things that you guys are doing, right? They see you all over social media, all that kind of stuff. You know, but you mentioned in your retreats, opening up and whatnot. I mean, what do you guys think is your guys' biggest struggles as entrepreneurs? I mean, some examples could be, not being balanced, right? Not having enough time with family, having your value success, or your value, tied to this success of your company. I mean, what's been some issues for you guys, and how have you guys kind of overcome those?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I can say that I want to improve on.
I'm putting you guys on the spot right now, man. But this is the stuff that people like to listen to, because then they can relate to it. You know what I mean?
I find for myself that I'm always checking myself to see if I'm being overly critical or if I'm doing a good job of holding them to a high standard. Like, I think there's a fine line there of like, I'm being too critical of my people and I should just let them do their job, or am I holding them fiercely accountable to the standards of our organization? So, in the moment, of course, that's what I think it is. But you better believe, like, after we have a moment, I get on someone, like, I have to check myself and say, okay, was I just being, was I being critical? Like, could I have handled that better? And so I think for me, that's something that I'm always thinking of and trying to improve on as a leader.
It's one of those situations where, like, you have a certain conversation that's not ideal, right? It's a negative conversation with an employee, right? A team member. And then after work, you kind of like go home and you replay in your head. You're like, all right, did I do that right? Like, did I go about that right? Did I say the right things? Did I have the right tone, right? Yeah. It's definitely one of those things that we're all thinking about.
And I think, again, it not to beat a dead horse, but it does tie back into expectations, because if they know that our goal is to win, our goal is to be the best, our goal is to help contractors across the U.S. and change their lives and make them better for their families, and like, we see it, so it makes it easier, I think, to sell our team on that when they see the testimonials, when they get to hear from the wives, when they get to see the families, like, they come in for the strategy session and they hear about how their lives have literally changed. It makes it easier, but reminding them of that and setting that expectation that, hey, we're here to be the best and nothing less. Nothing less.
Well, then if there's numbers and expectations, you guys kind of agreed that this is kind of what we're aiming for, right? So then that conversation is way different than if there isn't a number attached to it or any kind of expectation set.
Well, and for me, I guess, if we're diving into this stuff, I think, I believe in, I guess there's 5 key elements to balance. I mean, are you ever truly balanced? No. But awareness, when one of those 5 areas needs to be addressed or needs to be focused on, I think is a key to always always driving yourself internally to be the best you can. And for me, there's 5 things. It's mind, body, spirit, family, and business. And if you were to just kind of put those in 5 different categories and just constantly do a self-analysis, daily, weekly, monthly, whatever it is, and ask yourself, am I mentally in a good place right now? Okay. Is my body, am I physically in a good place right now? Spiritually, whatever that means for you, spiritually, am I in a good place right now? Business, am I overworking business? Am I underworking business? Am I being effective and efficient in my business? And then family, right? Those are one and the same. They don't work without each other. If you're all in on business, your family suffers. If you're all in on family, your business suffers. They're one and the same. You got to have those 2 things really dialed in. And I think for me, it's really easy to get mixed up. It's really easy to let one of those just take over. I find myself, and the question came up with overwhelm. I don't know. I mean, I would assume Hunter kind of, we all 3 of us really can get into this. Business is the one that stands out, that always is like eat, sleep, breathe, poop, whatever you're doing. It's
nonstop, always thinking about it.
Always on business. And you have to be very intentional to say, you know what? Did I take time to read today?
Yeah.
Did I take time to pray today? Did I take time to walk my kid to 1st grade this morning? Did I take time off to go pick him up from school? Like, am I doing the things that I know I need to do to hold myself accountable to strive for balance? I don't believe you ever actually get there, but to strive for balance. And for me, that's awareness, but it's also a huge challenge, and it ties right into overwhelmed, right? And Brooke asked the question a second ago about, You know, how do you deal with being overwhelmed? You know, sometimes when you get super overwhelmed, just take time off. Hit it from a different perspective, because here's what happens. We get really overwhelmed because we get so into the weeds, into the trenches of business or life or whatever was going on. What we forget to do is think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we don't put enough value on the mindset, the mental side of I talked about the mind, right? The mind goes underneath where you need to be, and everything else can let you get overwhelmed. Step back, process, think, and then prioritize and execute. For me, that's how it works. Is I get overwhelmed. It happens probably more than I'd like to admit. It happens, right? You know, I mean, how many businesses you got, Hunter? How many? I got like probably half a dozen. I don't even know how many businesses I'm involved in at this point. And sometimes you just got to be able to, you know, bounce between the 12 or whatever it is. But the overwhelmness can happen quite a bit. But for me, it's just reset. Take a day, take a night off, whatever. Take some time and just sit and think. Go somewhere where you can be comfortable. For me, find your happy place, right? I go to the mountains, or I go somewhere and I'm just like, or for me, it's driving. I'll go for a drive, and that's where like you can really start to just think and process, prioritize and execute. Leverage your team. Okay, you can't do it on your own. Not one person can be all things to all people and all things to a business. You must surround yourself with high achievers, A players, and great people that can help you execute your vision and dream. And then so the key there is, one, prioritize and execute, and then two, divide and conquer. Right? You got to divide, you got to delegate, and you got to, what can you take off your plate? What can someone else handle? And what do you absolutely have to do? One, because that's your strength zone, and two, no one else can do it. And then just focus on those things, and you'll start to see everything come up, and that overwhelmness, you know, you're able to share that burden with your team.
To do that and to have that team, and you got to have that vision. It's got to be solidified. It's got to be something you believe in. You got to be passionate. You got to be able to sell it to people to build that team. And, you know, I was going to say, follow up with, like, for me, I really feel like I'm at a point in life, in my career, whatever you want to call it, where for me, it's who, not how. Like, I'm not really that focused on trying to figure stuff out anymore myself and doing the work. It's who can I find that knows how to solve this problem? And I'm either going to go hire them to be a part of our team, or I'm going to hire them as an outsourced service or whatever it is. But I'm not really trying to figure out how to do that much stuff myself anymore. It's just who can I find that knows how to fix the problem? Because I do only have so much mental capacity. Like, Randy only has so much mental capacity. Nick only has so much. Same for anybody watching. Like, you reach a point where, dude, you just get tapped out. I talked about the retreats earlier, man. It's mentally draining. Like, you're pouring your heart into people, and at some point it's just like, man, I'm done. I got to go take some time for myself, whether that's driving. For me, like you said, sit in the mountains. For me, I usually drive up through the mountains. You know, I'm in the Carolinas, so we got the Blue Ridge Mountains and Pisgah, and I just drive and just think, and, you know, prayer and talk with God, whatever it is, but just a little bit of a release, not focusing on business, and thankful, grateful for what I have. Like, that's a big piece of it too, is just gratitude. Like, knowing that, man, no matter what's going on, whatever mountain, whatever valley's in the way, like, I have so much to be thankful for. If it all went bust today, they can't take the wisdom that I have. They can't take the experiences. They can't take the relationships. I really could get it all back, and I'm thankful for that. I'm so grateful for that.
I love that statement.
I love that. And I got to double down on that, man. I try to be intentional and start every day from a place of gratitude. I start every prayer with a place of gratitude, not what do I need? What do I want? What's my problem? What do I need? What I want from, what the issues? No, thank you. Right. I'm grateful for everything I have right now. No matter what you have in life, start your day with gratitude, and things really start to ease up.
So we'll start to close it up here. I have just a couple more questions before we end it. So Hunter, thanks for coming on. But we got to give a shout out to Nate Ellis. He said 8 years ago, I could not be an efficient leader due to drugs and alcohol. Today, I celebrate 8 years clean and sober, and now I'm finally an efficient leader.
And I've known you the whole time, Nate, man. That's incredible. I've seen your development, dude, and it's been a really cool to be a part of your journey, my friend.
So I do want to do one thing here, though. I figure with both you guys, coming from the roofing space, both having multiple businesses, do you guys have any tips for people who might be business owners, roofing business owners, who want to kind of leverage that platform and what they've been able to create, and the financial success they're able to create to go into other business ventures? Do you have any tips for those guys?
Don't do it. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
No,
I'm surprised you didn't say, yeah, we're taking investors right now for one of my 8 businesses. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm waiting
right.
for you to say that.
Oh man. No, I think something that's super important, especially for any young entrepreneurs listening in, is you grow up in the entrepreneurial space and you hear you need 7 streams of income. You need 7 streams of income. How many times have we heard that thing, right?
Mhm.
And you don't need 7 streams of income until you've got one that's cash flowing, one that's established, one that has systems and processes in place, one that has leadership in place, so you can remove yourself from the organization and then focus on the next thing. And then the other thing I would say is, as much as it is fun and as much as I love it, I'm, probably not the one to preach on this, other than I've learned from experience, is try to find something that's already cash flowing to invest in, whether you're investing in it and you're not actually helping from an operational standpoint, or maybe you are getting involved as an operator or leader. But try to find something that's cash flowing versus doing a startup. You're going to be in a way better position, a lot less risk. Your chances of succeeding are a lot higher. So if you can find something that's cash flowing, partner with somebody, buy out a company. Dude, there's literally companies out there right now that you could buy for way less than they're worth, implement some of the things from an operating system, marketing, sales, all the things that as a business owner in the roofing space. You could implement those things, increase the value of the business, and resell it and make great money.
Well said.
I got 3 things. 1, beware of the shiny object syndrome. 2, stay in your lane. And well, let me elaborate on those 2 first. So shiny objects, right? Most of us entrepreneurs are like, that's a good idea. Let's go do that. That's a good idea. Let's go do that. That's shiny object. Right? You have to weed through all that and make sure, you only go after the things that really make sense, right? And that can be profitable and can really, make sense. And then staying in your lane is doing things that support one another, which leads to the third point of leverage. Okay. So don't chase shiny objects that are just going to waste your time, because time is more valuable than money, especially as an entrepreneur. So don't chase shiny objects, stay in your lane. Like if you notice Hunter and all the things he has, they're all leveraged and correlate with one another. And if you actually look at my businesses, and they're all leveraged and correlates with one another. They support each other in one way or another. That way, as an entrepreneur, because when you're trying to elaborate and go into multiple businesses, you have to be able to. This is the trick. It's a blessing and a curse for an entrepreneur. There's a correlation between entrepreneurs, visionaries, and ADD. Right? It's like you got a seven lane highway in your head all the time. It's like you have a switchboard in your head. When you're running multiple businesses, you have to be able to shift and turn those light switches on and off like that. I have to be able to answer 6 different questions on 6 completely different topics in a short period of time, in one day or 1 hour even sometimes. So if the things you're working on are leveraged together, they're in the similar lane, and you're not distracted by the shiny object, you can be effective and work on all things at one time.
Money. Well, all right, we got one last. I mean, you guys have brought the fire. It's been great information for everybody out there, so I appreciate it. But we still want to do a golden nugget, right? And so Hunter, I make Randy go first, but basically just a golden nugget to leave the viewers with that you think that is important to them. Something, it could be a life lesson, it could be a quote, it could be something to implement, something to avoid. It doesn't really matter. Just something you want to leave them with. So Randy, we'll let you go first as usual. So for what, the 162nd time, you got that golden nugget?
Man, we've been firing gold nuggets the whole time, and now you're like stumping me here. But no, something does stand out here, and I think I got to remind myself of this as an entrepreneur, because, and Hunter talked about this earlier too. It's easy for us to just say, "Here's an idea, go do it, figure it out," right? It's like, and I'm moving on to the next thing. But there's this: if you have the right people in place, sure, that's kind of how I operate. I know it's like my people are like, they know, just take the initiative. That's number one for me. If I'm hiring somebody, I need to be surrounded by people that have really, really high initiative scores. But you got to inspect what you expect. Okay. If I delegate something, if I'm trying to hold somebody accountable, I've learned this the hard way. I have a bad habit of saying, hey, go do this. And then I move on to the next thing. And then I don't go back and inspect that. I don't go back and double check and follow up and follow through on what I've delegated. So if I can give you a tip today, directly from my own challenge bucket, is you got to inspect what you expect. Okay. You got to micromanage from that level. Like it isn't sitting over someone's shoulder, but if you're delegating, if you're putting some accountability measures in place for people, you got to double check. You got to go back and inspect and measure and track and actually go back and reevaluate those things. So inspect what you expect.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Randy. Hunter?
Cool. I got a couple of things. So from a monetary value, RoofCon, if you buy a ticket before the end of the 20th and you call my team, just tell them Hunter said on the show. They're going to be pissed. I'm like, why does he always do this stuff? Why didn't he, give us a heads up and give us a code? But just say Hunter said, take $100 off a ticket for RoofCon 2021. You got to buy the ticket by the end of the 20th. The 21st and beyond doesn't count.
Can I add in
roofcon.com
promo code SBG or Start Build Grow Show?
No promo codes.
I'll do that. I'll call them right now. Yeah, that way you don't have to actually call
Start
my
Build
team.
Grow Show. You heard about it here first.
I will right now, as soon as we end, I'll go tell them to do SBG. So if you do promo code SBG,
throw it on there, baby.
Yeah.
Roofcon.com though, right? Roofcon.com.
Roofcon.com, or if you want to check out the new site, roofing.com, and you can get to it from there too.
Secondly, check out the new site, roofing.com.
Yeah, it's sweet. So secondly, quick little quote that I like is, it's not even a quote, it's just super simple. Hard is good, and it's good because other people are quitting. Like, how many people started 75 hard and didn't make it to day 65? They didn't make it to day 65. How many people started a roofing company and they didn't make it to $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, year 3, 6 reps, whatever it is? Like, hard is good. Embrace hard. Know that you're making progress with hard. Embrace the failures and know you're one step closer to the next success, to the next peak. Don't let your latest be your greatest. And then lastly, from a business and operational standpoint, kind of ties into what Randy said with accountability and inspect what you expect, is have an operation system in place, an operating system in place. We've been building out a framework. There's a lot of good ones out there that you can check out. We've been building one out ourselves because there's some stuff we like from different operating systems, but have that in place to hold your team accountable. When you build out an org chart, like for me, I remember telling Connor, like, oh, those things are stupid. Like, nah, we're old school, man. Well, dude, having an org chart in place tells you where you're going. It tells you the gaps that you have to fill as a business. So it's more important for that. And you know what I've had happen is a lot of people inside of Revolt, when they join Revolt, they say, well, I'm small. Like, we only have myself and one other salesperson. Dude, you need it more than the big company because you have to know where you're going. So build out the org chart for where you want to be 12 months from now. And you literally have it outlined of who you need to hire to get there. That's what I got.
Money, dude. Well, Hunter, man, you've been doing some awesome things. We really appreciate you taking the time to come on as a guest. If you guys have not got your tickets to RoofCon, make sure you check them out. Just go to roofing.com. It's a great atmosphere, awesome people. The big thing too is it's not salesy, right? It's a great event where people are hanging out, learning a lot, networking, everything like that. It's not hard push sales. So it's a really good event to learn a lot of information. So make sure you guys are checking that out.
No pitch from stage. That's
no pitch, man. You see that? No pitch. See, I'm all about that, man. But Randy, always a pleasure. Hunter, thank you so much for coming on for episode 162 of the Start Build Grow Show, man.
Click that like button, subscribe.
Yeah. Make sure you press that button.